You're probably wondering why I'm doing my review in my bed. Probably because Misery takes place in a bed. Let's go get some coffee. Oh, wait, I got some right here. My legs are shattered. Oh, I can't move. Oh no, what do I do? I need my pills. This is going to be a spoiler free review on Misery by Stephen King. Um, Misery is about this. Let's say you're a famous novelist, one of the best. You get in a drunk car accident and you wake up in a bed with your legs shattered. You don't know where you are. You're not in a hospital. There's no police. There's no nurses. There's one nurse, Annie Wilkes, and she's here to take care of you. And she happens to be your number one fan. And she's upset about something. You wrote a series titled Misery, and you killed off one of her favorite characters. And she's upset about that. Whew! That's what this book's about. If you've followed my channel long enough, you will know I am a avid fantasy reader, and primarily The Wheel of Time. I am currently on book 10. I have now started reading it, but when I landed on book 10, I took a break. I wanted to read some spooky books. I wanted to be scared. And why not start with Stephen King? I've never read Stephen King before. This is my first Stephen King novel. And wow, was it a good one. I was scared. And guess what? There's no monsters. There's no sci-fi elements or otherworldly things. It's just two humans. When you've been enraptured in 10 books from one author in Wheel of Time for a year and a half, thousands of pages, it's a lot. But when you take a break and read Stephen King, my goodness, his writing style is such a breath of fresh air. Stephen King's writing style is so accessible. The way he describes things, the way he describes appearances, his metaphors, they're so tangible and relatable. A lot of his books take place in our world, so things are a little more universal and like, oh, yeah, I could picture that. Oh, when he mentions this, I can picture that. There isn't a lot of, there's not a barrier of entry to learn a magic system or learn a fantasy realm and its histories. No, you're in America and you're in Colorado. Boom, I know what that is. I also like the way King describes pain and suffering. It's very vivid and visual and just kind of gut wrenching. I find you have to be really talented. You have to be really talented to do that, to describe pain and allow the reader to feel that pain. And King does it brilliantly. Um, the way he describes paranoia and anxiety through the eyes of Paul Sheldon, through the actions and inaction and mystery of Annie Wilkes. I also love the way King describes the way passage, no, the way time, the way the way he describes the passage of time. all Paul has is a window and a calendar that has yet to be turned from February or March, and all that he has is his internal thoughts to count the days and even the hours in between his pain pills. The plot, the story is all told within one room, four walls, and through the mind and eyes of Paul Sheldon. It's brilliant. How do you write 350 pages of that and keep it interesting? I'm not going to spoil the story or anything, but there are just twists and turns and an overarching mystery that unfolds ever so slowly, and this tension that just strings along all the way until it just gets chopped off with an axe. See what I did there? The way the story is just told through Paul's eyes and vivid imagination makes this so intimate. I love stories that let you sit in the shoes with the characters. And now in this book, you get to lay in bed with him and you're stuck with him. You see the world through his eyes. You learn about the world through what little clues Paul picks up on through Annie's behavior and mannerisms, what he sees through the window. The backgrounds of the characters and their past are connected with the world building of this book. Granted, there doesn't need to be much world building in a world that we already know as America, but Paul's world is Annie's house. And when you have world building connected to the characters, that is where it's at. So many books, whether it's fantasy or sci-fi, a lot of the world building is detached from the characters. So much what makes a good story is when a town is connected to a character, an object is connected to a character, and there is history within that object. There are a few things in this book that are connected to Annie that will blow your mind. Gosh, this is, the more I talk about it, now that I'm able to share my thoughts out loud, this book was amazing. When I was reading it, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't necessarily metabolizing it as much as I should have. This was really well done. And this is definitely something I would want in a book. I would highly recommend this. If you have not read Stephen King, this is a great first book to dive into. And it was nice to read a self-contained book from beginning, middle, and end, whereas Wheel of Time is 14 books, and you're just kind of, each book is almost its own chapter within the overarching story. So there's never really an end to it until you get to the end. So this was refreshing. This was refreshing. Now, I'm going to read some Wheel of Time. Get back into that. Thanks for hanging out.